Okay, it's 11:28. The meeting's going to start at 11:30, so you have 2 minutes to gather yourself, compose, think pure thoughts, and then we'll pick it up. Okay, good morning. Hello. Hi. Over here. The answer to your unasked question is no, I was not in a fight. This is a knuckle replacement. It will get better. So, anyway, welcome to a special meeting of the First Parish. I am Gus Brown, church moderator, and this is in response to a motion made by the parish committee to have a vote of the congregation members present and voting. So if you're here and you're a member, you can vote. I should point out that we, the chair of the parish committee, Gina Holstead, and I have been talking for a while about accommodating parish meetings with people who are remote. And the language in the bylaw talks about members present and voting. We're going to see what we can work out so that people who are streaming can actually vote. They can be present in quotes and voting. So again, to vote, when the vote comes, you do have to be a member of the church. And it's on the honor system. Nobody will card you for that. So that's how it's worked. At this point, I've told you all that I know and more than I'm conversant about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this mic to Gina Halstead, it's chair of the parish committee here, and let her share with you exactly what the parish committee's motion is.
Good morning. I move that the congregation vote to affirm the launch of a public fundraising campaign, the Opening Doors campaign, with a goal of $6.2 million and proceeds to be used to replenish our capital reserves, and fund renovations to the parish house and grounds in alignment with the design affirmed at the special congregational meeting on September 29th, 1925. The scope of renovations will be determined by fundraising results and will prioritize a new and light and view-filled connector that links the two wings of the parish house and addresses current issues of circulation, welcome, access, and flexibility. Upgrades to the playground and access to from the south, and overall improvements to the parish house, including energy efficiency. Once the fundraising results are known, the Opening Doors team will recommend a scope of work for congregational approval.
Thank you, Chair Halstead. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second from a member? Good. Okay, great. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to the team.
Mr. Moderator, may we have your permission to address the congregation? Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I know many of you have been following along in this process, and some of you have not been. If you are among those who have not seen details of designs and whatnot and are curious, I encourage you to go to our website. There's lots of information there. We are not going to spend this meeting going into a lot of detail that has already been shared. Before we begin, I just need, as I always do, to acknowledge the team, the Opening Doors team that has worked for months and months and months on this project. We're very grateful for the ongoing engagement of our Reverends Kit and Nate, who represent the staff, but also really hold the vision of the congregation. We'll hear a little bit from them later. As well as, I have to read it, Ken Bassett, Melissa Deck, Ann Forbes Van Ness, Ken Hurd, Mary Helen Lorenz, Tom Milkey, Vicky Milkey, David O'Neill, Dana Robert, Thornton Ring, and Peter Sugar. Thank you to all of them. And speaking on behalf of the Opening Doors team, we have Rosa, Rosemary, and Sarah. So, as is important to understand in this moment where we ask to initiate the public fundraising campaign, this is a discernment project that First Parish in Lincoln has been involved in since I'm going to do what Gina did. She said 1925. 2024, when the annual meeting called the capital campaign team to figure out what is it that we should do. And we spent a bunch of time planning. We really spent a lot of time discerning what should the focus be? What's the role of the sanctuary? What's the role of investing in programming? And we came to a very clear alignment that the parish house is the next place in this moment to invest our resources. We discerned design options and for the parish house and grounds in response to the congregation. And all of this is done not in some little bubble, but with all of you. This is a project that is about responding to this congregation in this moment, our history, where we've been from, and our yearning for what we want to become. Hearing from the congregation that there is a thirst to include justice, we discerned an approach to justice that animated a whole bunch of work that is now happening within our racial justice advocates, is that the right word? And we had this affirmation of campaign direction in September 2025, and we then went out and assessed, we agreed at that meeting that we would assess the fundraising potential for the campaign, and which brings us to today. So one of the things we did is really get clear on what is our vision for this campaign. And just let's read it together, because it really, I think, encapsulates what it is we believe we're trying to do with this parish house. It's to welcome spiritual seekers of all ages, foster we had the service today, intergenerational community, encourage creative expression, and grow future generations of moral leaders who work for social justice and cherish the living earth, who live with love. As we went through figuring out what this parish house needed to do, we listened and listened and listened, and God bless all of you who gave us input. What do we need to do in this parish house? We need to make it more welcoming. The bathroom welcome, not so hot. We need to improve circulation, both within the parish house and the relationship to this building. We need to increase flexibility to respond to our current programming needs and anticipated future programming needs, and to provide space for growth, the growth that has already happened and the growth that is in process of becoming. Inspiration, we have this beautiful landscape around us. The parish house doesn't quite interact with it in its current iteration. Functionality, we know that safety, accessibility, and storage are all key issues to address. Efficiency, energy efficiency, and reducing our environmental impact. And refreshing. Do you think it looks a little tired? You guys, I went to nursery school in that building. I'm not sure much has changed.
We took those challenges, we took that vision to an architect. And what happened was we got a solution. And the solution, I want to just say this because I want to be clear. We didn't go out to find a beautiful new space. We went out to solve problems. We wanted to renovate our grounds. We wanted to renovate our parish house. And what we got, in addition to a solution, is a beautiful space. So I just want to be clear about that. And it meets all of our goals, solves all of our challenges in a beautiful and, we believe, transformative way. Back in September, we all came together in this room with a couple more people, and you affirmed the design, the master plan that we put out in front of everyone. It answered these questions. I'm not going to read it all through for you, but you can see it. Yes, we have light-filled spaces. We're calling it the connector right now because it connects all of the spaces from here to there, inside and out. So we want to kind of speed along here, right? So these are the things it's going to be doing. This was the master plan that was affirmed. All these updates, all the things we dreamed of, all the things we wanted to solve. And we were challenged to go out as a team and in what we call a quiet phase of fundraising, visit with some folks. Well, people we identified as potential lead donors, you probably have heard that phrase in fundraising, to test, to see what is our appetite, what is our capacity. And we know that we have broad support from all of you to do all these renovations. We know that we have, through those conversations over the past few months, raised $3.1 million in early contributions. And I want to thank the folks that welcomed us into our house, and really stepped up and encouraged us. However, that big vision that we had of all the solutions was a bigger price tag. It was $7.75 million. And we just think maybe that's just a little bit more of a stretch for us than we can reach right now. However, that doesn't mean we can't do something fabulous. We do believe we can do something fabulous. And so we are recommending that we implement this project over time rather than all at once, and are now proposing a $6.2 million raise to be used to fund the elements that will give us the most impactful design, the most transformative space that will encourage us, inspire us, and I hope lead us to finish that project in the near future.
And this idea of doing this over time actually is kind of a big win, right? Because it allows us to choose what is of highest impact today. And those pieces that we think we know what the answer is, that we can't do today, we can revisit those at a future time and with the future congregation who actually can decide what it is that's most impactful in that future moment. So we're kind of excited that we have something that we think would be really transformative and achievable, and it gives us a plan for how we think about that parish house into the future as we anticipate our future and current ongoing growth. So let us open our doors by focusing on that new connector, that aspect of the project, which we really see as a welcoming heart in the center of the parish house, right? It provides all these large and more flexible spaces in that new community room. It houses an elevator for accessibility. It smooths out the circulation. It's beautiful. I'll show you a couple pictures in a minute if you haven't had a chance to see some of those early elevations. And it renovates the playground. We know we need to do that. Creates a welcoming entrance to the south. But we can't leave out some progress toward, we also have to replenish our capital reserves, support investments in improved energy efficiency, and fund upgrades to the rest of the building. Part of what we aren't investing as much in is all of the renovations to the office space, which we feel can wait, and some of the heavier renovations to the auditorium, which again, would be something for a future project. So just to give you a little skinny, you can go to our website and watch the movie of walking through this space if you haven't had the chance to see it. And please know the fixtures and finishes, they're just placeholders. Nothing is final here. That's a few. We'll have some more congregational meetings. Are we having fun together? Okay. But this is, imagine, that you're walking in from the north, where you walk in right now, and you see the bathrooms. What do you think? Better? Elevator. Oh. And now we keep walking into that space, and we start to see opening of views toward the south down here. We think we can see the steeple of this building, maybe tree obstructed. And you keep walking in, and now you're turning and you're facing to the north, so you're facing in this direction, back toward Sylvia's office. You see room for seating. And you keep turning, and now you're facing, this is where the current organ is, and allows access into that auditorium through this new space. So that's just a little taste of what this transformational space can do for us.
So this is the end of our presentation, but it can't end without saying thank you to all the people who have gotten us to this point. Thank you to each and every one of you for your patience coming back to these meetings over and over again. It is because, like democracy, congregations are process-driven. You are it. You are the voters. It is not our project. It is our project together. And that's why we keep asking you to come back and keep affirming it. We want to be transparent, even as we work towards transformation. So thank you to everybody. We like this sort of tagline here, which is that Opening Doors is a campaign about faith in our future. So we invite you all now to be brave, bold, just, and kind, because that's who we dream of being. That's what we're living into in this moment for ourselves and for the wider world. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, may I have permission for our ministers to address the congregation?
Absolutely.
One more round of applause for Sarah and Rosemary, who have put in so much work and imagination into this campaign. The thing I've been struck by most is the way this whole process has helped us work on one of our core values, which is building community, right? We saw it at our workshop 2 Wednesdays ago. We see it here today. Kit and I have the privilege sometimes of meeting with folks who want to find out more about First Parish, and we think, we talk to ourselves what is a church for here in 2026? And we really believe in the 3 values that drive everything we do. Building community, like I said, pursuing justice, and nurturing spirituality. And we know that this project is going to help us take the next steps into living more deeply into those values, in integrating our 2 buildings, and we're just so excited about what the next 5, 10, 25 years looks like with the possibilities that this campaign proposes. I think we might be ready to vote soon, but what else do you want to add?
I just want to add our endorsement and celebration of this master plan idea, and I think we've just been continually impressed that throughout the process, which is inherently iterative, right, and process-oriented, whenever we've met sort of okay, we're going to have to reimagine that and maybe see if we can make that a little more affordable, or, can we do that in a different way? I think everybody on all the different teams has just been generous and positive, and has seen those moments as a fine-tuning of our purpose, and as, okay, now we have more information than we had before, and it's fun to dream big and to create this sense of where we may be headed, but it all happens, step by step. So we're really excited about the way that this emphasizes and centers what we have felt is the heart of this whole campaign, which has been the opening of our doors, the accessibility, and we think that that's going to lead to a lot of vision and growth and flourishing. So I think that's enough. Gus, back to you.
Thank you, Kit. Thank you, Nate. We are, small c, a congregational church. We have leaders, we have ministers. Thank goodness we have the ministers that we have. But we also have a community. So this is a time for those of you who are here, who have comments, questions, observations, to feel free to make those comments, observations, and to ask the questions. I'm going to have to bring the microphone to you.
I think I can make myself heard.
No, trust me, as an old deaf man, you can't.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm one of the newcomers to this church, and I'm guilty of not being up to speed as to all the plans that have come before, but I'm concerned about the beauty of the current church up there and the stained glass windows and the feeling of history that has gone on there. I didn't see lots of reference to preservation of those factors, so I just wanted to ask about that. How is the new plan going to interact?
You should just know that we are not touching the original structure. That is all completely preserved. The connector is a new structure that is going to help the 1852 building connect, 1892 connect with the 1953 building. So it is,
And we are planning to do some updates to the 1953
building,
exterior,
eventually.
but that's eventually. But that, yeah. But the beautiful stone, the stained glass, those are not in play, Nina. Thank you.
and yes, we had early meetings with the historic district. We took our very first drawing sketches to them. They were thrilled with the respect that we were demonstrating to show how those two buildings could be related in 2020, whatever we get to when we actually break ground. Thank you.
I don't really have a question. It does concern me, however, that our young families aren't here. There are a couple of them, and I'm truly grateful that they're here. And I want to make certain that they are well aware of what potentially could happen up the hill, and that they feel that they have been prioritized in this space.
Thank you, Sarah. Invitations have been out to everyone. I think last Wednesday when people were together, we had a really great showing of young families. And what we've heard and what we sensed from that meeting was that there's a lot of support and a lot of interest. And I hope, it is my hope that we can get better at our communication if it's not being heard, that we are talking about intergenerations, that this is about the future of our church, and families and young people are highly prioritized.
And absent their in-person participation in conversations, we are leaning hard on our ministers who are very committed to engaging young families, and to Laura Venesey and our staff who interact with them. So I feel like that is a priority of the campaign. It's a stated priority of the campaign. It's a stated goal of how we make the trade-offs as we move forward, and what we prioritize. So I too wish that more young families could be here, and I think it speaks to the challenges of what
Family
life looks
life.
like.
Family life, kids.
Okay. Other questions, comments, observations? Yes, sir.
I wonder if you could speak to the outside grounds between the two buildings and whether they are included in this current thought, or is that something for later on?
Thank you, Carl. So the plan in this, what we believe we can accomplish, and we are still in the what we believe we can accomplish if we raise 6.2 million, we're in that kind of like mystery space, is that we would be doing some work on that connector building. We would be reinvesting in the playground so that the playground works, and creating the walkway that connects the Bedford Road with an accessible at-grade pathway into the lower entrance of the building. That's a huge benefit of this connector architecture, is that connection it allows. So doing that. Some of you have seen incredibly detailed and glorious landscape plans. I think that we would need some very special funders to come forward, and we'd be happy to name those grounds, in order to do that scope of work in this phase. But there will be work on the playground. That path is envisioned as being part of the scope. Thank you.
Sarah, could you just explain what is going to happen to the current commercial kitchen? Is that going to be moved?
Our intention is to preserve the kitchen. We heard over and over again that there was a programming future for that kitchen. We made a huge investment in making it a commercial kitchen. It's one of the only ones that exists in the area. There will be a movement of it because we want to also add an elevator into our world and a safe fire stair. And so there's some reconfiguring that will happen architecturally, which will move it slightly, but it will be, in fact, Ken Hurd went in and measured all the linear feet of all the cabinets, and we can put them all back in. It'll just be shifted over.
And it allows us to keep the same hood, which is the most expensive piece. And I know we've had conversations with some of our power users of the parish house, and one of the questions we're holding is this a moment to do some tweaking of what the layout of that kitchen is? So since we're moving it, it invites us to ask those questions, but the plan is to have a commercial kitchen and save the hood, which is the big dollars involved.
As we go forward in all of this project, what we're talking about right now is asking you for permission to come and ask you for money. Basically, we need to raise that other $3.1 million to do a phased project. Okay, so that's what the vote is today. The actual design details will be something that we come back to you with again. We affirmed the overall design direction back in September. The refinements of that have to still be done based on raising this much money. And then when it's actually the interiors, the finishes, and all that, it will all come back to you again. Jim? Sorry.
It's easy to vote yes for this without knowing anything about what that means to me personally. And I wonder, is there any guideline that you have in your minds of how much more you would expect each parishioner to donate, say, vis-a-vis what they give annually? Would you expect that to be doubled? Is there any guideline as to what this would mean for me?
I think that's a really great question, and I think the answer is it's going to be up to you. I mean, it's not a multiplication. Maybe you'll have a different sense about that, Sarah. I mean, how do we raise $3.1 million from the 172 people who we've not yet talked to? You could do that math. But that's probably not a reasonable thing to ask everyone to come to that same number, because everyone's at a different place. We recognize that. There are young families who are just starting out. There are some of us who are at this place of retirement. We're on a fixed, things are fixed and we don't know how long we're going to live, so we don't know what that math is. So, it's going to take each person individually thinking about what does it mean to you personally. We've been talking to the folks already about where's your opportunity to stretch. This is a once in a generation. I mean, I know that there was a generation ago, 15 or 18 years ago, people came for a capital campaign, and we raised money for the Stearns Room. And that was a stretch for people then. Now it's a bigger stretch. There are bigger numbers involved in building anything. And we're hoping that there's some part of you that understands either the nature of your own portfolios, if you have them. You know what your responsibilities are for caregiving, for kids, for college, for that trip you've been meaning to take, for your own kitchen you wanted to renovate. We understand that. It's going to be each of us kind of looking and thinking, this community, what does this mean to me? And it might mean a lot, and your dollars still can't go there. And we get that too. But some of us are going to step up, and we're going to think about what we're going to give. And then, like one of my mentors would say, now I want you to double that number that you had in your mind. Or in this case, because we're going to invite people to make large contributions over a period of 3 years, could you do that once this year? Could you do it again next year? And could you do it the year after? And keeping not cutting back on your stewardship either. Peter Gomes said, he was the lead minister at Harvard Memorial Church, and he would say, I have this great vision. And the great news is we have all the money we need to do this project. The only problem is it's still in your pocket. So thank you for that question. And anyone who wants to sit and talk about this pastorally, or just with us to think it through, talk about what does it mean practically for you, how have some other people come to think about how they can make that work, whether it's giving with appreciated stock, or however you can do it. Not everyone's in the same boat, so it's not like let's divide that number by 172. Okay.
And just, also in terms of what it means for you, this campaign will launch with the stewardship campaign. It will launch this spring. We will be looking to collect the bulk of the support in this calendar year, 2026, though some people may want to stretch that or need it to be into future years. But that's just kind of this time framing to help you.
And I wanted to say one more thing about this, which is if this is something you're simply just not able to do,
that's okay.
We don't love you less. No one's going to know this. This is, donors. I don't think we're going to do a list where we say who gave, $15 and who gave $15,000. This is your heart, your decision. We love you. We respect the inquiry that you're going to go through for yourselves. And we are so grateful for whatever way that you can contribute.
My question was basically answered because when I saw the first slide, I thought we had raised $3 million and we were going to need another $6 million. But now I understand the total is $3 million, $6 million including the $3 million. So I feel much better. And the other thing is, I think probably some of this money has to go for when you redo something, you have to have more accessibility. So things like the elevator and the fire stairs and whatnot. So we need to do those things. So thank you. I'm so glad it's not $9 million that we're going for.
Could you share with us the amount of that 6.2 that we're reserving for preservation of the existing buildings that we own? I don't know if preservation's the right word, but long-term conservation of those buildings.
Of our raise, based on conversations with the Facilities Committee and Finance Committee, we have targeted 750,000 to go into our capital reserve. When they did that budgeting, there was money in there to put air conditioning in the Stearns room, as well as ongoing upkeep of our, yes. I didn't answer his question. That's a 10 to 15 year run.
So in any case, we would need to raise $750,000 from the community just to conserve our buildings. It's our fiduciary responsibility to do that. So in some respects, the raise isn't as great as it looks. It's maybe $750,000 less than what it looks.
Thank you for framing that, Joe. And I would say that the Finance Committee, in developing those numbers, based it on, and we're going to be investing in that building. So what we would need for just basic upkeep, were we not to do all the rest of it, that number would, I don't know what that number would be, but it would be bigger. Are we ready to vote, people?
Just wait.
Very quick question.
Yes, Miranda.
So obviously, being a musician, I care about the organ, but I'm very happy to see the organ go to a new place up in the parish house to allow for accessibility and elevator. But I was also wondering if there's any plan of what the inside of the auditorium where the organ is, if it's taken out in this first phase to allow for the middle building to be built. If anyone has discussed what will the wall look like where the organ has been, because I know there's a window hidden by the organ.
Yeah. So you can look at the plans and it's still going to have to be iterated again, but the basic goal is that becomes doors that opens up. So from the auditorium into the new connector space. So it'll be light filled, it'll be opening, it'll help our flow, it'll help our overflow from the auditorium as well. Tom.
Joe brought up the Stearns room and air conditioning, and is the altar part of this conversation, or is that for a whole nother day? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Other questions, observations, comments, thoughts? There are people streaming, so they can't hear you.
Just a quick observation. I think everybody's worked on this, but particularly Rosa. You've done an amazing job of really listening and responding to what people have expressed as concerns. And I just really want to applaud you and tell you that I'm so appreciative. It's deepened my own connection to the church. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for doing this.
Okay. Other thoughts, questions, comments? Moderators are not allowed to express an opinion, which mercifully relieves a number of burdens from the moderator. But the moderator can provide some history and data. The question had come about the stone church up the hill. That is actually the third building to be on that site. The second building, first building was in the 1740s. Second building was from the 1850s, about the 1870s, when Mr. Bemis, who not only endowed what is now Bemis Hall, but also endowed for the first church in Lincoln to tear down the second building, which he disliked. And he would fund a third building in the Romanesque brick style, which we have now. So as much as we're attached to our history, it has changed. And for those of us who can think this way, this building, when it was built, this is the original structure. It's been changed a number of times, but there was no heat in this building. So which was actually why it was closed in the winter and only open in the spring, summer, and fall. So as we appreciate the way that things look, the way that things are, there have been motions over the past almost 300 years to improve things as they go along. So history is a guide, but it's not a prison. There's some data. Okay, are we ready for the question? Yes, okay, all those in favor of taking the vote now, please so signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, if you are a member, you can fill out your ballot. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, yes, Joan.
I just wanted to thank Sarah and Rosemary both for this extraordinary effort that you've put into it, and your enthusiasm always, and your hard work, and it's been really impressive, so thank you.
So here's how it's going to work. As the ballots are finally all collected, Gina Halstead as chair of the parish committee, me as the moderator, and Jeannie as our secretary are going to go in the back. We are going to count the ballots, and if you just want to take a break and hang for 10 or 15 minutes, we will come out and we will announce the totals. Good by you?
It'll be probably super fast. We're going to count really fast. I want to just thank you for the thanks, and I want you to know that Sarah and I, Sarah's been leading stewardship for a long time, and I've been her sidekick. And doing this together has been, it's actually a privilege for us to do this. It's a weird thing to say, but it's like a money ministry for us. We truly believe, I mean, not just because I want your money, but because we truly believe that your money is an opportunity for you to express your heart's desire. I mean, there's lots of biblical texts that we can go to about, your treasure, but we believe this is your opportunity to express that. And we get this chance to meet with you and talk with you about something that people think is kind of icky. We hope
it's
we can
kind
transform
of like where tenderness meets action.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us talk to you about this.
And love.
And love.
Will we-
here? Hello. Over here. Hi. It's amazing the number of mistakes you can make when you have a chance to talk. Jeannie Hardcastle, I had her title wrong. Jean's title is she is the clerk of the parish. And notice her husband rises when he applauses. All right. So I'm going to turn to the clerk of the parish, who has taken the count down from Gina as chair of the parish committee and me as the moderator, and she will announce the totals.
Thank you, moderator. The motion was approved with 68 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstained.
So it is the statement of the moderator that those are the official totals. The yes votes carried. And so we thank the committee for all the hard work that they put into it. And please feel free to proceed. Is there any other matter to come before the meeting? Hearing none, the moderator will hear a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Okay, this is a voice vote. All those in favor of adjourning, please so signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Mercifully none. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, folks. Thank you so much for being here.